Okay, so in this video, what you're going to watch is me looking at the job market, looking at the different job postings on LinkedIn, and trying to answer the question, are there roles out there today as of January 2025 for Power Platform developers and AI? Like, what is the demand for that? What is the demand for Microsoft Copilot roles? What's the demand for AI roles in general? And are they only technical AI roles? Or are there already AI roles for other job functions within the organization? That's the purpose of this video. The data will actually surprise me, and I think it's going to surprise you. Let's get started. Okay, so what are we going to do starting with today? This is January 1st, 2025. Everyone's reset. We want a brand new start. Some may be looking for a brand new position or role. Testing out and taking advantage of the new skills that you've been learning towards the end of 2024. And now the demand, as the demand starts to peak. And that's why we want to run this job market analysis as presented by LinkedIn. So basically, we're going to be looking only the jobs on LinkedIn just to see what the market is, right? And again, I use this because this becomes a barometer for me to make sure that my videos are on par what the demands are. And the best way for me to judge the demand is not necessarily to give out a survey, but to look at the actual activity. What are these job postings asking for? I'm going to be biased. So if I show you my list here, I'm going to have this in the second screen. And in here, I'm really going to break these searches down into four main categories. I have Copilot searches as Microsoft Copilot. Again, this is a tricky one because it could be a role that's AI on the Microsoft platform and they happen to be using Copilot. And it could be Copilot specified specifically as Microsoft Copilot. And you're going to get variations of spellings of here. And that's why I have here, I got some variations. I probably should add one more variation here. But we'll try both, right? We're going to smoke it out either way. And then for each category, you will notice that there's a high pan. These high pan, I'm going to the very high, the highest salary filter on LinkedIn, and then strength to search up. Because not only do I want to see what jobs are presented are in the market for a particular category, I want to see what the high net worth or the high paying jobs look like for that category. So we're going to do Microsoft Copilot searches. Then we're going to do a generic AI search. This is going to give me numbers on a different spin or a different dimension on the market. This is going to see where AI in this generic form is tracking within the market. So this could be some technical roles within AI. It could be business roles or SME roles within AI. But I really want to look at AI in this generic form just to see what people across the nation are doing. And again, in this category, we're going to look at the high-paying jobs. That's at 200,000 plus salary base for these roles. Then we're going to get down to Power Platform and AI. Again, this could be a synonym for Microsoft Copilot and AI because they could be roping in the Copilot Studio and Power Apps and Power Automate and Dataverse type solutions or Power BI, so on and so forth. So we're going to take a closer look at that. And again, within that subsection of that category, we're looking for high-paying jobs. And then I'm just going to go generic Power Platform. What I'm seeing as far as what's the need for Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, Power Platform in this generic form. Again, this is really just, I wouldn't say fishing, but you're doing some type of keyword matching here because the LinkedIn search is not AI search yet. I'm sure they are rolling that out. I thought I saw pieces of that feature baked in inside the Sales Navigator. But what does it look like from an end user perspective? I think hopefully we get to see some of that advancement in 2025 where we're not doing these variations of the keyword to try to match with the results. But either way, we're going to get a take on how Power Platform is trending in 2025, what Power Apps and Power Automate, Power BI, Copilot, which we tackled above, and Power Platform in this generic sense. And then again, we're going to set that filter to see how many of these are high-paying jobs. So what I'm going to do, I try to get this done the first 4 or 5 days of the month. and we're going to do it 12 times in 2025, once per month, and really just start to capture the results. And then this way we can throw this into like Power BI, or really we can throw this into an AI that says, okay, month one, here's our results. Month two, here's my results. Give me some interesting insight on this data. And this is how business in general are starting to use AI, right? So I was going to say throw it in the spreadsheet, but we're going to go more cutting edge from that. Okay, let's get started. Let's go ahead and start tackling Copilot. Okay, so here I am in LinkedIn. Let me clear this search result out, and I'm going to just type in Copilot. This is one of my variations of the search. And right away, you see Delta Airlines pop up. This is not looking at Microsoft Copilot. Delta Airlines is actually looking for a Copilot, right? So we don't want that. Let's take a look at Berry Global. Berry Global is looking for an AI administrator. Again, they're spelling out exactly Copilot, the Power Platform, agents. Again, AI agents. This company asking for agents right off the bat. They've been at this for a month, and so far we only had 32 people apply. I would say only 32 because as we look at these different job roles, you will notice that 32 in the 1 month period is a very small number, which means there's not a lot of people skilled to take this role. And this is a confidence level, right? This is not, they didn't even get shot down in the interview. They're like, I know I'm not a good candidate for that job. So they're not even applying for it. So it's 32 brave souls out there. Okay, so I didn't touch this in the beginning, but also what I have, let me select everything here. I'm using ChatGPT, and I'm using a GPT that I created. Now, my gift, my Happy New Year's gift from me to you, I'm going to actually drop this prompt in actually, I think I could share this GPT. I'm going to do one of the two. I might do both. 2025 is the year of the and, A-N-D. It's not an or, it's an and. So I'm going to do both. So I'm going to give you a link to the GPT, and that way you can have it. And if I update it, I think that's how it works, that you will see the update as well. But minimum, I'm going to give you the prompt so that way you can tweak it and make it your own. Okay, so for the job posting, I'm going to drop this in and then allow it to execute. Now, why this is thinking, basically what I'm looking for is one, I'm getting the job summary because you can get lost in those job postings. This is going to give me a consistent layout as I'm going through and analyzing each one of these job recs. So that way it's uniform on how I'm doing the analysis. The top piece is just a job summary. This is what they're looking for. These are the required skills. And then this is me right here. Everything, the AI capabilities and below. This is where I asked the GPT, hey, I'm creating these videos, and me personally, I'm studying this line of technology. How does this job posting compare to that skill set? Now, the skill set I'm studying for and I'm creating videos around is one, getting very skilled up on the Power Platform. What you need to know and grow in Power Apps, what you need to know and grow in Power Automate, what you need to know and grow with the different data sources in the Power Platform solution. What do I mean by that? When to use Dataverse, when to use SharePoint, not ShareGate, SharePoint, when to use pro data sources like Azure SQL, Azure Oracle, Cosmo DB, so on and so forth. So that's going to be the Power Platform. In addition to that, I do a very deep dive into the AI components of Power Platform solutions. What does that look like? On the surface, it may sound like Copilot because it's that same feel, low code, AI, RAG, retrieval augmented generated data, simple AI on your data, right? But this is more than that. This is really positioning Power Platform developers to create power solutions. I like that term. With AI and having way more control over the AI. With Copilot, you don't have the level of control that we sometimes need to fine tune things for a particular solution, right? So we're going to get into Power Automate interacting with an AI service hosted in Azure, openai, or an AI service hosted in AI Foundry because you're using one of the models within the AI model catalog within Azure. How do you piece all those pieces together? How do you take unstructured data and create AI solutions with it? How do you create actually the more complex of the two, structured data, and put AI on top of it and build AI solutions on top of that? So that's the AI component into the Power Platform. It takes the base knowledge of how all these pieces work together in Copilot into a whole new level, because some of these automated solutions you're creating, you're going to create Power Apps for the UI, Power Automate as the middle tier, and then AI as the smartness to go against what other data source that you need to go against for that particular solution. So when you look at this, everything under AI capabilities and below is me, and then justify the ranking results. It's going to go through and see, okay, how much of this is Power Platform related versus AI capabilities versus AI tools hosted in Azure. So let me take a look. Let me scan through this real quick. Okay, so this particular role is really centered around Copilot and the way Microsoft designed it to be. It's using Copilot to quickly generate smart chatbots or even Copilot agents to do a multi-agentic neural solution where you have agents that are specialized in different parts of the solution, interacting with the business directly to gather requirements. And then also there would be documenting workflows and building wireframes and hosting demos and really just keeping the business and the business stakeholders abreast of how things are progressing and showing progress. And then in the AI capabilities, it's not the detail built, configure it yourself in Azure and using the AI services, but more so using the AI components that you get with Copilot and start interacting with different APIs or other data sources that the Copilot may need to interact with. So this is going to be, in its core, building AI solutions with Copilot and really starting to bust the stitches on the capabilities of Copilot as it interacts with other integrated systems and the user's own data. Okay, let's keep looking. What else do we have here? Analyst Finance Copilot. Let's see. Let me select all of this and then drop it in. This feels, I can't really tell if this is a physical pilot Copilot or if this is going to be a technical solution or a technical role. But the GPT would tell me everything. Okay, so this one's a little fancy. Again, Copilot is such a generic tool. This is more, it is a technical role. It's a technical role working with Power BI and working with using Power BI to tell story with the data, meaning through dashboards or reports, or providing the sales team dashboards and reports that they can use to deeply analyze the data for their respective area. And it's really an engineer type role to help with the sales team. Their term or sense of Copilot is Copilot, meaning assisting or being a team member with the sales team. And it looks like they're going to be using Excel, SAP, and they're probably using some other data sources to put those dashboards together. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for, but it's very interesting. Okay, I'm going to move forward with another search term within the Copilot, because I only got 10 results on that one. So let me try Co-Space Pilot. Just by putting the space between Co and Pilot, I get 524 results. Let's quickly scan and see if we're in the realm of possibility here. So there's that Berry Global at Evansville. So let's skip that one. We already took a look at that. That's a helicopter pilot. Citation XLS pilot. What in the world is that? Yeah, this looks like superior air transportation experience. This looks like aviation again. Senior engineer aviation, captain aviation. There's Delta Airlines again. Delta Airlines is going to have a tough time if they are hiring a true engineering co-pilot role, because that's going to get mixed in with their pilot roles that they already have. That's going to be funny. To me, it's going to be funny. to the person I have to deal with, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Okay, I'm on page 2. A lot of these look like actual physical pilots for aviation. Yep. First officer. Okay, so I know there's an engineering in one, what we're looking for in the Microsoft realm, but it's buried under all of these physical aviation pilot roles. So I'm going to actually skip this one. That's not actually a good search. Okay, let's expand this one out. Let's put Microsoft as a prefix in here. Hopefully that will kill some of the noise. Okay, so I have 0 job matches for Microsoft Copilot. Let me take the space out of it. And I have, again, 0 results for Microsoft Copilot in this. So let me just update my search numbers here. High paying jobs, I'm going to say that category we have 0. So really the only jobs, without getting through the 524 that we got, let me just show you my stats sheet here. This was very heavy, like just page 1, 2, and I think a little bit of page 3. It was all pilot, physical humans for aviation versus Copilot and Copilot Studio. So this category of search has a lot of work to do. A ton of work. And this is very interesting because as branded as Microsoft is with Microsoft Copilot and Microsoft Copilot Studio, that role has not hit the airwaves yet. It may be under the generic artificial intelligence search category. So let's start to chip away at that one. I'm going to start first with AI. Okay, if I just do AI, I get 137,000 results. Actually, 138,000 results. Okay, so now we have to chip away at this and see exactly what's in this search result pool. So let's start with this one, physical therapist. I know for a fact this is not, the title explains it greatly that this is not an engineering or tech type role. But I'm interested to see with a physical therapist in AI, what exactly does this role entail? Okay, so this one is very interesting. This is a pure physical therapist role, right? Going to see clients and setting up patient care, treating Medicare type patients to make sure they get paid, the flexibility of the home and schedule and opportunities. The key piece is development of tech-driven solutions as in AI and VR. So this is taking a physical therapist role in its traditional sense and peppering in some of the latest and greatest technology and hope for innovation and creativity and really trying to change that area of the business. Very interesting. So it seems like Shasta Health in San Jose is on the bleeding edge there within their vertical. Here's one, AI transformation leader. Let's drop this into GPT. What does this entail? Okay, so this is very interesting. I think a lot of organizations are where this particular organization is at. So this AI transformation leader role at Dover, which is located in Woodridge, Illinois, is really looking at someone to come in and be that AI transformation agent for the organization, reporting directly up to the CEO. And it seems like they're at the early parts of their journey because they haven't settled in on yet a framework, patterns and practice, technology stack, or any of that, but they know they need to start transforming a lot of their business operations and processes to AI, and they really need someone to come in and start wrapping their hands around that, understand the business, start building up the frameworks, the center of excellence, the training, the technology stack, working with IT, and so on and so forth. So this is actually a very interesting role. And like I say, every organization eventually will be building something like this in the future. I'm very interested to see what's the data behind this role. What do I mean by that? Over 100 people applied for it. This is telling. Over 100 applicants, and I'm going to give you the true number here in a second, applied for this within 1 week. And the key thing with this week with the current date time is that we're sitting here January 1st, 2025, and this was posted during the holiday break. And during the holiday break, 100 people applied for this. So let's look at the true number because it says over 100. So if I scroll down, there's a couple of things. This is very interesting to me because there's a couple of things I want to dissect here. Okay, so 192, you said over 100. The real count is 192. And here's the interesting thing. Again, this is today, January 1st, 16 people applied for this job New Year's Eve day. Instead of out there drinking and partying and watching the ball drop and being under the ball and saying Happy New Year, they're applying for their next role, their next 2025 role. Interesting. Now, because this role reports directly with the CEO, reports directly to the CEO, I'm very interested to see how big is this company. This company, based on LinkedIn, look like they're about 157 strong, older company. They were 60 years old, about 160 employees, founded in 1957. It's a natural water treatment technology company. And look like they have a footprint in Woodridge and Hazleton, Pennsylvania, where all the water making stuff happens. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I can get their sales data. I'm sure I can, and that's not the scope of this. I'm actually getting off the rails here because I'm very interested. But that role is very interesting, right? So here you got a AI transformation role reporting directly to the CEO. So your sponsorship is going to be through the roof. You're cutting through the fluff, cutting through the politics. It's going to be through the roof, and that's the type of strength you need. That's the type of ammo you need when you're doing this type of transformation, because you're going to have the naysayers. You're going to have people concerned that you're there to take over or to replace them. And having the juice of the CEO is going to be critical. Interesting role, very interesting role. Starting salary, I think, is pretty low for that role of that type, but I think that's the beginning of a very bright future. So I think it's a sacrifice in the salary, but once you get rolling, it's going to be fantastic. Okay, let's keep going. Technical, actually, let's go random. I'm going to go deep on this one. This is 138,000 pages, jobs, right? Let's pick another one at random. Director of Generative AI, Gen AI. Capgemini, that's a consultant company. I'm not interested in that one. Imagine Learning, Senior Product Manager, AI Initiatives. Perfect. Let's look at this one. Again, this is an and role, an A-N-D. You're going to have history, experience as a senior product manager, but you're going to also be expected to know the cutting edge AI technology. And not necessarily the technology, but understand what the trends are. Understand what AI is and what it's not. The boundaries, the options, the tech stack. Okay, so as a senior product manager, one, you got to have experience in product management, right? They talk about Agile, they talk about Confluence and all those other known tools for managing projects, Agile type projects within the organization, right? So that's going to be table stakes. You're going to have experience there. The key piece is the differentiator is product manager and experience with LLM, product management and experience with Chat GPT or Grok or Gemini. You're not building AI solutions, but you're working with teams that's building AI solutions. And for these teams to operate efficiently, you as a product manager have to understand what the AI is. And again, as a product manager versus a Scrum master, you're going to be driving the features on the product. So you're going to have a really good understanding of where the trend is going, what your team needs, how you all should be operating. Of course, these teams are going to be managing, self-evaluating, setting their own tasks and milestones and things along that line. But as a product manager, you're going to have to be very clear on what we need now, what we need in the next phase, and what's the roadmap for this product. And the other thing is, and this is cutting edge, they're looking for a K through 12 learning. So it seems like they specialize in learning capabilities in that space. So this is a very interesting role and is very telling, and it helps solidify my theory and a lot of other people's theory that I follow, that in 2025 and in 2026, I think 2024 was the last year of roles without the AI component surviving. Here's a product manager that could have been a junior or someone who's just getting their feet wet in product management, can leapfrog a senior product manager, just the fact that they have the AI piece, which is critical. The AI component is critical for this role, which is very interesting. Let's look at the starting salary. Do they have that here? Look at this. They have a wide range. You're 115 to 165. I would say if you're a senior product manager and you have the AI component, you're minimum 165. And if I'm negotiating, that's my base before we start talking benefits. Because they like to bundle, oh, your benefits, profit sharing, that. And then all of a sudden it's like 50,000 in, I'm going to say vapor salary, but it's money that you don't see hit your account every other week. Interesting. Okay, so now, speaking of salary, let's go ahead and put our filter in. So I'm going to go to all filters. I'm going to go now to the salary section, go ahead and select 200,000 plus, and then hit show results. When I hit show results, I get 11,563 high-paying positions. High-paying positions is such a staggering number. I can't even get the words out. Let's look at some of these. Senior product manager, content recommendation, and programmatic curation. Samsung, the TV company, in LA where the weather is great. Let's see what this role entails. Okay, I'm going to drop this in the GPT, and it's going to give me the summary. It's going to give me the breakdown. Okay, this is very similar to the other product manager. Again, this is a senior product manager, is working on Samsung's proprietary streaming television service, which is something I didn't realize they had. I don't know if that means, because we know that TVs have their own little app store and things along those lines. So I don't know if this means Samsung is getting into their own app to where they will be streaming. The one thing that they are calling out here is that they call it the FAST. It's free ad-supported streaming television. And this is very interesting to me because this is people who are not signing up for streaming apps, and it's more what's it called? Temu? Free VR. I can't remember them all. Actually, I get frustrated. Like the whole reason why I watch Apple TV, Netflix, and Prime is so I don't have to watch ads. And I hate it when I watch live events on YouTube TV because I have to watch ads. The only ads I really enjoy watching are the Super Bowl ads, like everyone else. To sacrifice the $12.95 a month, or to prevent from having to pay that and doing ad-supported free streaming TV is interesting. But it seems like Samsung is doing something along those lines. This product manager is going to help drive that team. There's an algorithm that seems like they're going to be using AI to suggest different programs, or this could be cutting edge, or different ads based on your viewing activity of the current user. So which ads to push them, or it could be which shows or recommendations of shows that they should watch, and this AI is going to be part of the algorithm. So again, just having a hands-on, again, you're the product manager, so you're driving the features, the capabilities, the roadmap, and the team is actually doing the heavy work, but you have to have a pulse on what's possible, where are the boundaries of AI, what the different technologies of AI, understand that different models of AI. So this is an and role. You got to be a product manager, and you got to have a sense of AI and its capabilities. Ooh, real estate agent. Interesting. As mostly I love real estate, and I love real estate as much as I love AI. Let's see what this role entails. My guess, this is just going to be looking for someone who's an agent and comfortable with working with technology, comfortable with working with AI tools, getting the best out of them, understanding how to use them. This is where your skill of understanding prompts and prompt engineering created what I created here, a GPT. If you're able to use Chat GPT or OpenAI within your line of work, if they don't lock you in to use a private AI as an example. But again, either way, if you're private or if you're public, the ability to create prompts, the ability to re-engineer prompts, the ability to take the results of the AI and fine tune it until you get what you're looking for is a skill that everyone should absolutely have, regardless of your role and regardless of where you are in your career, because you're either going to be on the offense or you're going to be on the defense. And if you have the skill, you're in a better position on both sides of that ball. Yeah. So this is right in alignment with that, as I suspected. It's the traditional real estate role, the ability to use AI type tools, the ability to leverage AI to get work done. Here they call out using AI to power leveraging the AI powered real estate bot to assist with market analysis and investment strategies. Again, this goes right back to what we talked about before, using AI across all your big data, feeding that data into the AI for it to help you identify insights, help you to use natural language to query the data, to find different relationships with the data, the what if scenarios with the data without having to involve a report engineer or a data scientist to create yet another dashboard or to create yet more features to an existing dashboard and waiting weeks, days, months for that to realize itself. With an AI type query across big data, you're getting these answers in a snap of a finger. And that's where the speed of light is starting to go. That's where we're seeing a lot of organizations looking to be more efficient, looking to be able to respond in that way. Look at this one. Principal product manager, 275,000 to 375,000 salary range. What in the world is this? Let me go ahead and drop this bad boy into the chat. Okay, so with this one, just reading through what ChatGPT outlined for me, is this feels like an architect, even though it says a principal product manager. It reports directly up to the founder. It didn't say CEO, it said the founder, which I thought was interesting. This is a startup, but with a very heavy salary base. Profit sharing capabilities, that's what startups love to do. They love to give you equity to make sure that you're all in. And this is their take on the world. It looks like they take e-commerce and they're going to be leveraging AI to analyze the activity or the analytics from an e-commerce site, maybe to involve almost like a social media algorithm, maybe to suggest or email market or build a relationship using AI with their end client, end customer based on how their buying habits. They could be positioning themselves to build a new e-commerce platform to change the way of selling items on e-commerce using AI. Machine learning is a key piece. AI is a key piece. Ability to ground large language models with data is a key piece. So yeah, very interesting role. Very high salary too. Okay. Ooh, roadblocks. My kids would be interested in this one. Let's see what this one is. Again, this is way off the beating path of what I was talking about, but it's AI though. Like, that's interesting. And here's the thing though, even though they're not calling out, and I don't know why they don't call it out, like which technologies to use. Maybe they don't know yet. But all of this can be achieved using AI Foundry or some of the frameworks, the Azure AI frameworks that are available to help jumpstart this capability. So even though they may talk about LangChain, what's it, Postgres, what is it, the vector database, and there's a lot of open source tools that always get taunted when you start talking about grounding your data with the LLM and fine tuning the LLM or building AI query type solutions against your structured data and so on and so forth. All of those capabilities exist in the Microsoft 365 platform with Azure and AI Foundry Studio. Like, all that capability is there. So even though they're not calling out that technology by name, they're calling out the concept that they want to achieve. So AI, LLM, machine learning, and things along those lines. So they're calling those out even though they're not specifying the Azure components of that. Oh, this is very interesting. So this is allowing a senior product manager. This is working with Roblox, and it sounds like the capability here is generating 3D experiences on the Roblox gaming platform, and you're going to be the senior product manager to make that happen. And they want to create these 3D experiences in a fraction of the time of what it would traditionally take, and they want to use AI vision. They want to leverage machine learning, and they want to leverage other latest and greatest technologies. So this is where things like text to video come into play, or even there may be a large language model specialized in 3D rendering that can short circuit that timeline and create templates to where you can replicate these in a fraction of a time. And for gamers, and I'm not familiar with that world, I'm just familiar with the AI capabilities that are available now that I can see that is creating, or that can add a lot of innovation and a lot of creativity there. All right, awesome. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look at more. Let's bring this on. Okay, we're pie in the sky. Let's bring this back in to the Power Platform. So now let's do our searches on AI, but let's add the word Power Apps to that. And I never know how to spell Power Apps in this way. I know Microsoft does not have a space. Has a space between it. Power Space Apps, yeah. But everyone else tend to either bump them together. So there's no results for Power Apps AI. There's no results for Power Space Apps AI. Let's just do Power Apps no space. I got 129 there. If I do Power Apps with a space, I get this. Oh, let me take my filter off. That's what's happening. Oh, let's dive in. So this is my 200 pluser. Okay, let's do Power Apps backwards. What does a 200 plus salary position look like with the word Power Apps? Okay, first I can tell you you're working for a consulting company, Visa, credit card company, consulting company. I don't know, Beto. Oh, it looks like they're a tax, probably consultant company. Let's jump into that. High tech, higher tech. Grant Thornton. What's Grant Thornton? Is that a consulting company? Grant Thornton is sounds like a consultant company. Let's look at this one. I don't want to look at a consultant company. I don't know. I just didn't want to. No rhyme or reason behind it. Okay, let's drop this one in. This is a Power Apps role that has I wouldn't say a base salary because they probably include all your benefits and all that stuff in it. But this one has a salary close to the 200 mark. Okay, Power Platform role for Grant Thornton, a consulting company, I should have guessed, located in Phoenix, and really they're building up their practice, right? So this is a consulting company, just like Price Waterhouse, Slocum, Microsoft, Ernst & Young, starting to build up their practice in preparation for AI in Azure, Microsoft 365, and Copilot. Yep. And it looks like their number one focus is going to be on building solutions that includes RAG, against, meaning that they will be hired by clients to build AI solutions, to do AI query, insights, and SQL searches against the client's data. Got it. Consulting company. Okay. All right, let me take this 200 filter off, and let's look at, let me reset that. With the filter off, I have 2,200 Power App roles. If I put the AI in the search box, remember before I had 0 results. Here I have Power Apps AI, I have 287 results. If I take the space out of Power and Apps, I'm trying to see if that number increase or decrease. Oh, I'm on par. So they're one and the same. Okay, so let's try it without the space. With the space. Okay, so what are we looking at? Okay, Hexware Consulting, Capgemini's Consulting, Berry. We already looked at Berry. Let's look at ECS. And let's just get a sense of this is a principal Power Platform architect. And the search query, sorry, one second. The search query has both Power Apps and AI. So this is going to put us with Power Platform and AI. Okay, so this one here, it doesn't call out AI in the role directly. It's really just Power Platform, working with business users, building solutions within the Power Platform, either replacing pro code develop applications with low code with Power Platform applications, integrating with backend data, either in SharePoint or some type of pro data source like SQL or Oracle or Cosmos DB. Also, building Dataverse. Dataverse is usually, if they got Dynamics 365, Dataverse is a simple solution. But if they're not using Dynamics 365, where they have that licensing in place to offset the usage of Dataverse in your Power Platform solutions, they usually gravitate towards something that stays within their standard Microsoft licensing and don't require a premium license. So that's going to be a Power Platform. This feels like it's still a classic traditional role. Here's one for MedPace. This is right here in my hometown in Cincinnati. So let's scan this one pretty quickly. Again, in the title, I don't see the AI in there. So I don't know, maybe, see, that's the thing. The search is getting crazy when you have just AI, because it could be part of a word or something like that. I'm not sure how robust the LinkedIn job search is and how it's treating AI in that keyword text box. Okay, so yeah, so this looks like a traditional Power Platform role where you're working with the business users, understanding the business requirements, building Power Platform solutions against those requirements. They do mention something that I thought was very interesting. When they did mention SharePoint, but they mentioned SharePoint 2019, which makes me think, now I'm confused. Are you 2019? Well, I understand 2019 is on-prem, but you got all this Power Platform requirements in this job rec. Is that because you're migrating from SharePoint 2019 to SharePoint Online, and through that migration, you're taking that opportunity to refactor and rewrite some of these applications within the Power Platform? I'm not sure. But either way, looking at this particular role, I don't see any, and the GPT confirmed it. There's no mention of Copilot Studio. There's no mention of AI. There's no mention of Azure AI. This seems like a classic traditional role here for a Power Platform. Okay, let me scan the title. Let's see if we can find one with Power Platform and AI. See if they have it in the title, so that way we don't have to take that 4 or 5 step process. I'll take anything right now. I'll take a consultant company. I'll take a recruiting company. Nothing yet. Okay, so let me play around with AI. So let's do A.I. to see if that generates anything. Okay, no results for that one. Okay, so let me do Power Automate with AI. I'll move into another search category. Nope. Let's do Power Automate with AI. No periods. I have 6. Okay, if they're out here, they're hidden. Let's look at Power Platform. Okay, so I have Power Platform. I have 120. No, I have 1,208 jobs for that one. And that's without the word AI. Now, if I put AI in there, let's see. Okay, it jumped up to 1,400, which is interesting. If I put A.I, I have 7. Yeah, I've finding the right job, finding the, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at Power Platform without AI. Let me just put the word artificial. Interesting. If I do Power Platform artificial, I get 1,395 results. Let's see if this is our group here that we're looking for. And we can scan these pretty quickly. So I'm going to take this Tata Consulting Services, run it through the GPT and see what it comes up with. Oh, this is a generic AI solution, architect role. It has very I don't say proprietary, but very specific CRMs that they want to integrate with. Salesforce. I don't know if they're migrating from Viva CRM into Salesforce. This has nothing to do with the Power Platform. And also, it seems like there is no mention of AI there. Okay, let's look at this Microsoft consultant role, which is very interesting. It's interesting because it's in West Palm Beach, Florida, which is probably the best place to be when you're doing IT, especially when it's not hurricane season. Okay, so this one, again, not AI. So the GPT says it's not AI, it's really Power BI and Power Automate. And it's really using in Dynamics 365. It's really using Power Automate as that middle tier to manage data or either do data loads or some type of ETL process with Power Automate, which probably is not the most efficient way of doing that. But it seems like with Power BI is, again, taking the big data problem that most of these organizations have, creating dashboards within Power BI, maybe taking data out of Dynamics 365 and merging that with some of the data from the SQL, could be on-prem SQL, and then making that data available in Power BI. That seems like the nature of this particular role. Again, this is one of those things where if it's Power Platform and Azure AI, ooh, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that one. Because so far, I'm not seeing Power Platform and AI solutions. So if I do Azure AI, I get 1,605 results. I'm going to just write that down because Azure AI was not on my radar. Okay, here's an Azure Data and Power BI solution lead. Hexaware, which I believe is a consulting company as well. As you can see, consulting companies and product companies probably have the most job postings out there right now. Okay, again, this is going to be Power BI development, data modeling, they're actually doing it the right way versus using Power Automate. They're using Databricks and Azure Data Factory to do a lot of that ETL process. Again, this is going to be your classic And this is probably where a lot of data engineers and data scientists play. Again, it's just grabbing all that data from the disparate sources, fusing it together in a common way, and creating dashboards and reports. So that way, team leads, executives, and other decision makers can get more insight on the data. That seems to be the nature of this one. Azure AI engineer sounds promising. This is for an organization that's in New York City Metro. Let's see. Here, I'm going to copy this, go ahead and paste it in the GPT, let it do a summary for me and highlight the key job posting items that we should pay attention to. Okay, so this one's going to be Azure AI in its more purest sense, getting down to the nuts and bolts of generating or grounding the large language model with the organization's data. Most of that, it seems like all of that's going to be done in Azure. It's, what do they call out? They don't call out any Power Platform. They don't call out actually any. It seems like there may be another team that's going to handle the UI pieces of this, but this seems like it's going to be using Azure OpenAI services. So they want to use the GPT. They want to ground it with their data. And here, as far as languages, they're calling out Python, R, and Java. So it seems like they're going to be doing processing probably within the Azure function, and that's where these pro code tools really come to play. There's a CI/CD pipeline, so they development lifecycle to where they probably have a non-prod and a prod environment, and then the CI/CD just allows that automated process. And then they also call out Terraform. So in the event that you're building a lot of Azure assets within the subscription, the resource group, and then the various services, the ability to spin those up and build an operation around that, it seems like that's where this may be needed. So this sounds like an organization that they're not building a solution, but a business app type solution, but more of an operation to where they're setting the foundation to start their AI development. So it seems like they have a plan on what they want to do. Now, this engineer is going to come in and say, okay, we need to set up these pipelines, these best practices, these patterns of these different AI services within Azure. This probably be Azure Foundry. So they probably start looking closely at the Azure Hub and then projects within the Hub, best practices with that, creating things like the security vault, one service or multiple service, one index or multiple indexes for search, what they're going to do with the blob storage. Because with a model like this, and this is the issue that we ran into with our engineers, when you go out there and start just using the UI and click, a lot of these are wizard driven. It generates so much infrastructure in the Azure service, almost to the point where some of these services, there's a minimum monthly payment. Zero use or max use within that tier of service, there's like a minimum payment that you always have to hit. So what we found was we had everyone just get excited watching Ignite videos, jumping into Azure AI or Azure OpenAI Studio and clicking and generating all. These are POCs. And just in a matter of a few days, looking at our cost analysis and our projection, we were on track to spend $1,600 to almost $3,600 a month. And these were just POCs, zero minimum usage. And what we found was when we started to open up the hood and look under the hood and see, wow, all that wizard-driven click and allow you to spin up your playground and spin up this model and upload your own data. We had like X number of Azure blob storages, X number of search services and indexes. And even if it was indexing 5 or 6 documents, like we had all this overhead of infrastructure. And what we ended up having to do was blow all that away, go to the Terraform, be very intentional on how we deploy these services, and then set up a standard and practice to say, you know what, here's your 4.0, here's your GPT 4.0 mini, here's your O1 preview, which we never got approved for yet. These are your services, these are the keys, and this is how you go and get it. And then, but an organization like this would probably start to look at, you know what, we're not using keys. We're using Entra ID, integrated ID, to where now you have to have a named user to execute this, and we will do a RBAC type access control to determine who has access, who and what can do what. Now, for very large organizations, especially when it comes to Azure, you really have this role here, like this Azure AI engineer, come in and start setting up these pipelines, setting up these best practices to the point where if a developer wants to play and they need access to a GPT, like an openai or whatever the case may be, there's a pattern on how they do that without blowing the budget out of proportion. So these you absolutely want to come in the gate to build deep before you start to build wide. And out of the box, if you're using the UI without some type of controlled deployment process, Microsoft allows you to build wide as fast as you want. And it's not until your CFO or your accounting receives that bill that says, I didn't think we started an AI project yet. What is this bill for $5,400? And it's saying like, and I just thought, is this something that we just starting or what? And then the next month you get the similar bill. And then the next month you get the similar bill. And then everyone's looking and questioning, is it really going to cost us $5,400 just to do AI searches against 3 PDFs? Right? So having control over how these services get deployed, that's actually a critical role. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to go through, this is what I have so far. I have the Azure AI, which is a new category that was not on my radar, so I'm going to have to go ahead and blow that out. We got very little results here, which was very interesting to me. And it's not, I don't know if it means there's no Power Platform AI jobs out there, or if we don't have the right combination of keywords to find them. This is where we have to do some deep analysis on this. But this is our number, very wide category here. So it's not that AI is not happening. It's, so we have evidence that AI jobs are out there to the tune of 138,000. We also saw that these AI jobs in most positions is an and, product manager and AI, business analyst and AI, real estate agent and AI, right? In addition to the engineering pieces that make all that magic happen under the hood. We absolutely are seeing high paying jobs in AI to the tune of 11,000, almost 12,000 or 11,500 positions that are out there. So the biggest guesswork is going to be what's going on with Microsoft Copilot. How is that job role being marketed? Because these keywords are not showing the evidence that they're using the Microsoft brand. And what's happening here in this space, the Power Platform and AI. We see a lot, again, from this video, there's a lot of results on the data. All the organizations seem to be trying to solve the big data problem. You're barely scratching the surface if you're only using Power BI, some type of dashboard against the sea of data, right? Because with the Power BI, there's a preconceived notion that what you are looking for. With AI, it opens up a whole new brand of world or a whole new dimension of a world, to the sense that you don't know what you don't know, and the AI consumes all your data in a superhuman way and give you insights on that data. Another thing that the AI does when it comes to querying data, where a vector search is just too generic, too broad stroke, too contextual, and you need something more scientific, this is where we see those solutions where very structured data You allow your executives, your decision makers, your key role people ask natural questions, regardless of how the data is structured, regardless of how the data is related. You ask natural questions to the AI search, and it generates the SQL needed to execute to bring the results up. And before it displays the results, it analyzes the results based on your question and give you feedback. That's the new world that's happening. So with structured data and with unstructured data, solving that with AI are new patterns and practices to make that happen. Copilot allow you to do that to an extent, doing unified data platforms like Fabric or data, and then some type of Azure data factory to fuse all the fragmented data together. You want to do that once. That's why it's a unified data platform. You relate it once. You do something like what Microsoft Fabric says, a medallion model, the bronze, silver, and gold, to where you're doing that enrichment along the way. And then once you have that done, that gold copy, you start to build services, either AI services or indexes or co-pilots or wherever the case may be on top of that, so that each and every individual solution is not doing their own flavor of the same work. So that's where the magic of AI and data really starts to shine. And from these results, we're seeing a lot of evidence that's a reality. So again, I'll see you in February when we run this search again. I'm gonna go through and get my baseline numbers, so I'll have them, and I will absolutely have in the search in the comments of this video or the description of this video the text that I use in ChatGPT to run these job postings against that GPT, so that way I'm analyzing these in the same way, regardless of how the language of the job posting was created by the hiring manager. All right, I'll see you next month. Until then, stay skilled up, my friend.